Hey everybody, we're going to have a quick little topic here on legal considerations in pricing. So it's really important that firms consider their pricing strategy in the sense that we don't want to take advantage of consumers, but we also want an equal playing field in an industry from firm to firm. And sometimes we have issues when it comes to different pricing strategies, and there have been over time these types of concerns and challenges. So what we're going to talk about here is just real quickly price fixing, price discrimination, deceptive pricing, predatory pricing, and fair trade and minimum markup laws. So price fixing happens when companies collude together or they choose to work together to set price at some arbitrarily high amount. This is a problem because consumers, it takes away this idea that firms will compete with each other on price, and rather they will get together and they'll set a high price so that both firms or multiple firms will profit at the expense of consumers. So artificially inflated prices that are agreed upon by companies is when this happens. The Sherman Act forbids this type of pricing, especially from peer-to-peer firms. So business to businesses that compete directly with each other would be horizontal price fixing. And that's when this that's the law, and that is where this is kind of legally fought in terms of it being a problem and such. Price discrimination is another concept where we charge different prices to people for no apparent reason or no distinct reason. The Robinson-Patman Act explicitly prohibits giving, inducing, or receiving some type of a discriminatory price. So when a seller offers different prices to different customers without a substantive basis, then that is a challenge. Then that's where this is challenged. Now there are certain situations where people certainly pay different prices for what they receive. So when we do promotions or short-term price discounts, that's certainly something where sometimes where prices change depending on who the buyer is. If you buy quantities and like a discount, get a quantity discount, your price per unit will certainly be different than it would if you didn't do that, or if there are some other contract options that are available to you, or some other basis that is available to all other buyers. So there are exceptions where people pay different prices, but they have to have some type of basis associated with them. The three other areas that we'll talk about here just quickly are deceptive pricing, predatory pricing, and then we'll just mention this concept of what is a fair trade law. So deceptive pricing is a situation where we offer a product and then change the price or adapt the price, or we change the product so that the consumer thinks they're going to buy one product, and then they end up either buying a different one of inferior quality, or they pay a higher price as a result of being switched to something else. So they're brought in under the pretense of one product at a certain price, and they're ultimately sold a different product at a higher price. Predatory pricing is when we intentionally lower our price so that a direct competitor goes out of business. And the key here is we lower our price below cost in a way that is unfair to the market. So imagine a big retailer like that's nationwide. Imagine if they went into a market and within that limited market lowered all their prices so that local competition went out of business. And as a result, that local store that local store in that local market, they may lose money, but because the business is so large and they do business all over the place, the overall business doesn't lose money. The overall business stays in business, but the net effect is they've eliminated competition in that local market because they priced products way below cost and they forced everybody out of business in that local small market. That's a deal where predatory pricing is a bad thing for competition, and it leverages strengths that the company has in other areas to take advantage of weaknesses their competitors have at a local level. Fair trade laws are often established when manufacturers in the past set artificially high prices, which would limit wholesalers and retailers their ability to sell the product or to offer reduced or discounted their ability to offer reduced or discounted prices. So laws like this were in place to protect the small mom and pop operators from price discounting by local or by bigger chain stores. So again, this is a little bit like a predatory pricing scheme where bigger chain stores were offered opportunities to sell product at a lower price, and one in which the mom and pop stores couldn't, or smaller retailers couldn't really compete with. Similar also, there's something called, and we don't see this often, but a minimum markup law. So a minimum markup law is a law that's in place that requires retailers to set at least a set level markup, and that you can't sell the product for less than that would be. So as we look at deceptive pricing, predatory pricing, and fair trade laws, you could really think of these as practices or areas of price setting that would limit competition in a lot of ways, or produce an unnecessary pressure towards consumers in the case of deceptive pricing, and then supply chain members in the case of predatory pricing and the fair trade laws. Again, minimum markup laws are fairly rare nowadays, but there have been cases where a specific product or product category's markup will be set legally and can't be changed or can't be minimized beyond that point. So whoever sells in that product class is guaranteed a profit. And that particular piece of the product can't be something firms differentiate themselves upon. It would be the same for everybody who's selling that particular product. Again, those are fairly rare to be, so that you don't see them as much or hear about them as much today, but they're still there. So these are just some legal considerations that people should be, that price setters need to think about. Certainly considering price fixing as a whole, that's kind of a big deal, and then price discrimination. Those two are really seminal, and things that will raise the attention of consumer watchdogs in particular, and then also your competitors who feel they've been disenfranchised in the marketplace if you're able to set price exceedingly low, like in either a predatory way or in a price fixing type of a way. Again, that hurts the consumer. Okay, so just remember these. They'll pretty straightforward just to walk through them, and review the text for these as well. Thanks.